Hi, welcome to live stream Yoga with Louise. Tips and cues to keep you safe and strong on the mat. Today's practice is all about relaxing and recharging. As always, play where you're comfortable, modify when you need to, rest when you need to. You ready? Let's hit the mat. We're going to set our mood today by beginning in a supine position. Make your way down onto the back. Give yourself a soft Shavasana-like frame on the mat. Just taking a moment to check that your whole back line is soft and relaxed into the mat. Big toes softly splayed out. Let's begin today's practice with a few rounds of belly breath. Maybe taking your left hand and placing it just below your breast line so that it's cupping gently over the ribs and the sternum. Take your right hand and cup it gently over your belly. Your elbows are soft and relaxed into the mat. Close your eyes. Take your focus inward. Begin to connect to your breath pattern. Every time you inhale, try to breathe in all the way to your belly and begin to dome your belly towards the ceiling so that it rises like a little balloon underneath your right hand. As you exhale, allow the balloon to deflate and think of your belly button trying to imprint into the mat beneath you. Start to connect to that rise and that fall of your belly. Your left hand is your control hand. Try to keep your rib cage as still as you can so that the expansion is happening not through the ribs but into the belly. Trying to inhale and exhale exclusively through the nose. Beautiful deep inhale and an equally long exhale. Start to relax the whole back of your body into the mat. Focus on that rise and fall through your belly center. When you're ready, and in no rush at all, relax the arms at your side, coming back into your Shavasana-like frame. Gently flutter open your eyes. Take a big breath in, looking overhead to the sky. And as you exhale, close your eyes and flop your head off center to one side. Inhale to come back to the middle as you open your eyes. Exhale to flop your head off center to side two and close your eyes. Let's do that twice more. Big inhale in as you come back to the center. Exhale as you close your eyes, making one ear nice and heavy to the floor. Closing those eyes as you flop off the center line. Inhale to come back to the middle. Exhale to flop and hold. Close your eyes. Inhale as you come back to the center, opening your eyes once more. Take a big breath in, and on an exhale, tuck into a little ball frame, bleeding your legs, your arms, your shoulders off the mat, and tucking into a nice little tight ball on the mat. Then as you inhale, open up into a star frame, but reach as far as you can through your toes, through the fingertips, through the crown of your head. Take an awesome stretch here and lengthening the body as much as you can. Do that a few times. Exhaling to tuck into your tight little ball, and then almost dragging your feet and your hands along the mat as you stretch into that star-like frame, holding a neutral spine position. Maybe you want to begin experimenting with more of an audible breath pattern. Last little star stretch. And then end for me in that tight little ball tuck again, and use that tight little ball either holding around the shins or behind the thighs to begin rolling up and down. Maybe keeping it in a tight little ball today, maybe trying to keep those feet hovering off the floor as you give me a few spinal rolls. Make sure you're hollowing out the belly and rounding out the back. End in a seated frame. Maybe you're standing here with your feet just hovering off the floor. Maybe you're coming into more of a boat line, holding behind your thighs, or maybe holding onto your ankles, or maybe even extending the legs and coming to a modified bound boat. Pause here for a moment, taking an awesome little stretch. And then think of that star frame that we were playing with just now, but you're going to try to find it with more of a hollow frame through your belly. And you're going to try to fall back, keeping your arms and your legs off the mat, hollowing out and holding for maybe a count of 10. Then relax softly down to the mat, bend your knees, ground your feet, and set yourself up for a bridge articulation. Feet not too far from your bum, feet and knees hip width distance apart, shoulders heavy into the mat, arms heavy into the mat. Spine and pelvis begins in neutral. Take a nice deep breath in, feel the ribs expanding, feel your belly softening. Then as you exhale and the ribs fall in, tilt your pelvis to 12 o'clock, keep curling your tailbone in towards your belly button line, and start to disconnect your back line from the mat as you float your belly and your hips up to the sky. At the apex of the bridge, pause and just enjoy the stretch for a few moments, making sure that you've activated your glutes, your hamstrings, your quads. Feel for that stretch that begins just below your breast line, feeds through the lower belly, through the tops of your thighs, then reach as long as you can through your kneecaps. When you're ready to come out of bridge, Setu Bandha, articulate down nice and slowly, one line of the ribs at a time, one vertebra at a time, maybe thinking of your spine as a string of pearls that you're allowing to drop to the floor one bead at a time. Once you've found your way back into neutral spine, let's find a figure 4 with the right leg first, taking the right ankle and foot and resting it on the left thigh, allowing the right knee to softly splay out to the side of the room. Take a moment to just readjust your body weight on the mat and check that the weight feels like it's even on the left and the right side of your spine. Focus on your left foot, your control foot that's currently connected to the floor. You're going to begin dynamically lifting it off the mat, drawing that leg up into a 90 position, and then softly tapping it back down to the mat. You're going to lift and lower dynamically a few times, just gently beginning to wake up the pelvis, starting to warm up through the hip flexors and preparing your body for the stretch of Supta Kapukasana, a little supine pigeon or a supine figure 4. You're going to end in the knee to nose position, maybe just holding here freestyle, or maybe grabbing hold of the foot, the nearest foot, with the opposite hand, and then taking your right hand and using it to push the knee away from the center line, maybe just increasing that stretch a little bit. Then relax your whole figure 4 frame back down to the mat. We're going to try to marry this figure four with a bridge line, focusing on keeping as stable as you can through the hips. So if you like, you can place your fingertips gently on the hip bones, or you can keep the hands relaxed on the mat, just trying to get a sense of leading up into the bridge line, but keeping your hips as even, as stable as you can on both sides. Almost pretending that you've got a little blob of mercury floating between the two hip points like a spirit level, and you're trying to keep that spirit level as equal as you can. So we're not worried here about how wide the knee is open out to the side of the room, but more on how stable we are through the pelvis. Then bleed your way softly back down to the mat, one pearl bead at a time. Take a big, delicious breath in, and on an exhale, draw the left knee to the tabletop position. Scoop to peel your head and your shoulders off the mat, looking through the legs, and then take both hands and feed them around your controlled thigh. Relax your head and your shoulders back down to the mat, trying to keep your whole back line as soft and relaxed as you can. Focus on your left foot. Start to kick it up towards the sky, and then bend the leg again. Give me a few dynamic bend and extend motions through that leg. Maybe ending in the extended line and just holding the stretch, trying to relax your whole back line to the mat. Then unwrap the legs and place the soles of your feet wide on the mat so that you're on the outer quadrant of the mat. Open up your arms into a soft T frame. You can do palms down or palms up. Take a big breath in and keeping your feet on the outer quadrant of the mat. Just make both knees heavy to one side. Flop them down as close to the floor as you can, maybe floating your head in the opposite direction. Then inhale, draw your knees and your head back to center, and exhale to flop to side two. The knees traveling in one direction and your head traveling in the other. Do that a few times, just dropping to one side with the legs, floating your head in the opposite direction as you start to gently work a soft twist through the lower back. Your movements are unhurried on the mat today. Looking for that recharge as we release the tension in the body. Bring your legs and your head back to the center line and bring your feet into a butterfly line. Soles of the feet coming together, knees softly splayed out, neutral spine, and then float your hands overhead to the mat behind you so that the palms are looking up to the ceiling. Take a moment to almost try to stretch long through the hands as if you were trying to get some additional stretch through the trunk of the body. Take a big breath in. And on your exhale, tilt your pelvis to 12 o'clock. Lift your feet, your head and your shoulders off the mat and reach through for your ankles, making a little hollow frame with your body. Grab hold of your ankles and try to tuck your heels closer towards your perineum, and then just hang here in your little floating butterfly line, getting an awesome stretch into the shoulders, into the arms, into the whole sacral area, using the weight of your arms to open up the knees a little bit wider. Then think about that hollow star frame that we played with. You're going to keep that hollow belly as you begin to extend and hover your arms and your legs in a star-like frame, and you're going to hold for a soft count of 10. Then bend your knees, ground your feet, and set yourself up for a standard bridge articulation. Begin in neutral. Tilt your pelvis to 12 o'clock, and when you're ready, slowly begin to articulate up, disconnecting the spine and the ribs, one vertebra, one rib at a time, floating your belly up to the sky. At the apex of your bridge, hold that beautiful stretch, nodding your chin to your chest, activating into your throat center, toning not only the thyroid, but also the back and the legs. Look for that stretch through your belly, through the tops of your thighs. Make sure your legs are activated, supporting your bridge line. And then when you're ready, bring it down, one pearl bead at a time, reconnecting your back line to the mat and finding your way back to neutral. Set up your figure four position on side two, bending the left leg, resting the foot on the right thigh. Start your dynamic draws, disconnecting the right foot from the floor, drawing the leg up to 90, lifting and lowering on the right for a few successive rounds. Making sure that you're softly reconnecting that right foot to the mat with no audible sound each time. End in the knee to nose position, maybe reaching for the nearest foot with the right hand and maybe using your left hand to push the left knee away and intensify the stretch just a little bit more. Then relax your figure four position back down to the mat, maybe placing your hands gently on the hips and trying to get a sense of equalizing the weight on the left and the right side of the body as you peel up into a figure four bridge, trying to keep the hips equal on both sides so it doesn't feel like there's a tilt or a drop on either side. Hold your bridge line, maybe arms reconnecting to the mat, or maybe you'd like to hold on to those hips. You could even support your bum a little bit today and even out your hips if you like. Then bleed back down to the mat, one pull bead at a time again. Holding the figure four position, you're going to come back in your knee to nose position on the right. Scoop to peel up off your shoulders, looking through the legs, and then try to feed both hands around your control thigh. Reconnect your head and your shoulders to the mat, softly drawing the back of that thigh towards your nose while trying to keep your chin, your neck, and your shoulder line as relaxed as you can manage. Then start to dynamically kick your right leg up towards the sky with a nice flat foot. Start to bend and extend dynamically through that right leg. Finding an unhurried pace of your own. Maybe ending in the extended leg line and holding for a few soft counts. Then unravel your arms and your legs. Place the 2 feet on the outer quadrant of your mat and open up the arms into a soft T, palm up or down. Exhale to flop both knees off center to one side as you look to the opposite side. And begin to move left to right, right to left in a slow, unhurried pace. Looking for that stretch into the lower back region. When you're ready, you're going to find your way into a supine butterfly line from here, bringing the soles of your feet softly together, starting to press the 2 feet together, allowing the knees to become heavy to the floor. Holding your neutral spine, you're going to float the hands overhead for a moment and just take a little stretch here. Almost reaching through the fingertips and trying to look for some additional length through the trunk. Find your way from here into your butterfly hang by tilting the pelvis to 12 o'clock, bleeding your head, your shoulders, your feet off the mat, reaching through, seeing if you can grasp hold of the ankles, coming into a nice little U frame through the belly, and just holding here. Trying to pull the heels in closer to towards your perineum while making the legs nice and heavy into the hands so that you can feel the opposition of the stretch, giving your body an opportunity to take an awesome little stretch here. We're going to come back into a rolling spinal roll here, but we're going to cross at the ankles, reaching for the tops of our feet, tuck into a tight little ball, rocking the weight up, almost making the head heavy to the floor as if you wanted to bob your nose or your crown or your forehead to the floor. And then start to rock gently forwards and backwards for maybe a few soft rounds. From here, we're going to set up a mermaid frame on the mat. So we're leading with the right leg in front at the moment. We're going to readjust the left leg, trying to tuck it so that the knee of the left foot can tuck into the instep of the right leg. From the front, as you come into the position, it might feel like you're leaning all of the weight into the right bum bone. So I'd like you to take a moment to play with that left foot, maybe tucking it in closer towards your bum, wriggling around with your body weight until it feels like your bum bones are equally weighted into the mat and the weight of your trunk is coming right down into the mat. If you look between the two legs, there should be a little triangle frame between the two legs. We're going to hold the triangular frame. Take your left hand and hold on to that back leg. So maybe you're grasping around the shin or maybe around the ankle line. You're going to keep that hold and you're going to start to play dynamically with the right arm, sweeping it overhead in an arcing fashion and then coming back to your start position. Do that a few times, focusing on trying to open through the right side of your ribs every time you sweep that arm overhead. Inhale as you arc and sweep. Exhale as you come back down to your start position. Looking for that expansion, that growth on the right side of your ribs. Hold your next arc and frame. Pause here for a few soft breaths. Then bleed the right arm back down and begin to extend your right leg, aiming for the front corner of your mat. If you look between the two legs, maybe you've got a small V frame. Maybe you'd like to open up and give me more of an L frame. So you're going to find the frame that works for you. You're going to place both of your fingertips on the floor and we're going to, on an exhale, fold forward. And on the inhale, come back to a nice tall seat. Start to play with that folding forward motion and start to relax your whole lower back, not fighting the stretch, but trying to relax into it. Try to keep your right leg as extended as you can with an active brace into your foot. Then hold your next forward fold, maybe keeping fingertips to floor, palms to floor, forearms to floor, or maybe you'd like to reach for the undercarriage of your foot. Wherever you are, just take a few deep inhalations and exhalations here, trying to just relax into the stretch. Modified gait, Paringasana. Then inhale to sit up nice and tall once more. Find your way back into your mermaid frame. Check that the weight of your trunk and your pelvis is coming down equally onto the floor. Hold onto that back ankle and give me those dynamic arc and frames through the right arm. Maybe 5 or 6 little plays, inhaling as you sweep the arm overhead, exhaling as you bring it back down. End in the arched position and just hold for a few. Breathing nice and deeply into the right side of your rib cage. Then float the right arm back down and find your way back into your gate line. This time you're going to take the right elbow, you're going to place it on the floor on the inside of your leg, or you could place a prop underneath it, maybe a block or maybe a pillow. You're going to try to use the back of your elbow and your forearm to press on the inside of your leg, and you're going to resist with the leg. Then start to open up on the left side of your body. Float the left arm up to the sky, reaching along through your fingertips, and just hold the stretch here. Now trying to breathe nice and deeply into the left side of your ribs. Hold the stretch. Relax into it. Then peel up, nice and tall. Keep your right leg extended, but start to bring it closer towards the midline. Try to unravel your back leg and step that foot to the inseam of the right leg, planting it firmly on the floor. We're going to twist towards the knee, and maybe you're grabbing opposite hand to knee and just pulling the knee in while placing the other hand on the floor behind you. Or maybe you'd like to take your elbow and see if you can reach around your knee and really hug that whole thigh into your chest. Try to get a sense of still trying to keep the body weight equal into both bum bones, so you're not leaning aggressively off the center line. Hold your little mariachi asana twist. And then see what the spine feels like when you take your twist in the opposite direction. But as you start to move into the twist, you take your left elbow, you hook it to the inside of the left knee, and you push with the back of your elbow or the tricep on that knee. At the same time, you're squeezing in with the knee. So you're looking for that opposition, and you're just holding here. Maybe your left arm is floating. Maybe you've dropped your left fingertips to the floor. Or maybe you're feeling a bind today and you'd like to wrap that arm around the knee, maybe bringing both hands behind your back and trying to bring the arms into a little bear grip behind your back. Or you could even hold opposite hand to wrist if you like. Wherever you decide to play, just hold your mariachi asana twist for a few soft counts. And untwisting your trunk. Take your left foot, step it over the right leg, and come back into your first twist, maybe grabbing hold of the knee with your hand, or maybe actively using your elbow to hook around the knee. Try your first twist again, this time with your left leg stepped over the right. And then take it in the opposite direction, using your left hand to press with the inside. So you're squeezing in with the knee, you're resisting with the hand. As you unravel your twist, you're going to extend both legs long and lengthened on the mat. You can give them a little shake out if you need to. And you're going to come into a soft forward fold, Paschimottanasana. Maybe hands to thighs, maybe hands to shins, maybe hands to floor, or maybe you're reaching for the undercarriage of your feet or your toes. You could use a belt, a strap, a towel, or even a block to hook around your feet if you like. Play where you're comfortable, but close your eyes for a few moments and try to breathe as deeply as you can into your whole back line. So think lower back, middle back, upper back. Give yourself a few beautiful breaths here. Then sit up nice and tall. In staff pose, Dandasana, feet just inside of hip width distance apart, or you can clip them firmly together along the midline. We're going to come into an inverted plank, Padottanasana. Pick the hand position that works for you. Fingertips looking towards your toes, or to the side of the room, or to the back of the room, or you could even play with a fisted line. You're going to slide your hands back so that they're just behind you. You're going to begin relaxing the soles of your feet to the mat. Try to pike your belly up to the sky, and then just pause here for a moment, taking a nice, delicious stretch into the arms, into the chest, into the belly, into the tops of your legs, into the tops of your feet and the ankles. Then relax your bottom back down to the mat and fold it forward once more. Maybe just hands to thighs or shins or arms to floor or arms to feet. Just see where you are. Close your eyes. Take a few moments to settle into the stretch. Breathe nice and deeply into the back and the sides of your ribs. Then sit up nice and tall once more in Dandasana staff pose and open up your legs so that they're hip width distance apart. Pick the hand position that works for you. And there's no right and wrong on the arm. Just do what feels good for you today. We're going to come into a full little tabletop line. So slide the hands back just behind you. Begin to bend the knees. Keep your feet and your knees hip width distance apart. Start to tuck your tailbone under, float your belly up to the sky. And as you come into the tabletop, try not to lean all of the weight into the arms or all the weight into the legs. In fact, you can seesaw the weight forwards and backwards and then try to come to a midway point between the two and hold your tabletop. Glutes are activated, legs are working, arms are working. Chin line is soft and relaxed. Don't throw the head back. You don't want to put any tension on the back of the head. Then ease your way once more into that forward fold when you're ready. Just using your whole exhale to just relax beautifully into it. Maybe looking for an opportunity again to just close the eyes, take the focus inward, and just be. Then sitting up nice and tall, finding your way into a cross-legged seated position, left in front of right. We're going to do a few of those spinal rolls. Just check that you've got sufficient runway behind you as you hold on to the toes, hollowing out through the belly, rounding out through the back, and starting to gently roll back and forth on the spine. Make sure that you're not trying to straighten up the back as you roll, but rather giving yourself a rounded frame so that you're not bruising the spine as you roll. Then in seated, keep the left leg in front and reposition the right leg coming into your mermaid frame. So tucking the right knee into the foot of the right leg, taking a moment to check your weight. Are you leaning everything onto the left bum bone? If you are, reposition the back leg. Find that weight equally coming down through both bum bones. Take the right hand and reach for the outside of your right leg. Maybe holding around the ankle is usually a good place to hold. We're going to play with the sweep on the left arm. You're going to arc and frame on the inhale. And on the exhale, bring the arm down. Do that maybe 5 or 6 times, just finding a gentle, unhurried rhythm of your own. Trying to inhale nice and deeply into the left side of your ribs every time you sweep that left arm overhead. Then ending in the arched frame and holding it. Breathe nice and deeply into the whole left side of your ribs. Try to open up the little spaces between the ribs. Then drop the left arm alongside your body. Begin to extend the left leg. Maybe you're aiming for the front corner of your mat. And then look at the line between the two legs. Maybe you want to hold that V, Or maybe you want to open up that right leg so that you've got more of an L frame between the two legs. You're going to place your fingertips on the floor. On an exhale, you're going to lean forward. On an inhale, you're going to sit up. You're going to give yourself a few dynamic rounds, taking a little bow, and then sitting up nice and tall, starting to prepare the left leg for the stretch, preparing the groin area, preparing the lower back. A few unhurried bows, and then maybe looking to hold your last bow. Hands to floor or hands to foot. Give yourself a few deep breaths here. Breathing nice and deep into your whole back line. Then sit up nice and tall. Find your way back into your mermaid frame. Check the weight of your pelvis. Hold on to the outside of your right ankle or shin with the right hand, and when you're ready, start to play with those dynamic overhead arcing, sweeping motions through the left arm. Maybe playing with a little ujjayi breath if you like, making an almost ocean-like sound on maybe just the exhale or the inhalation and the exhale by softly constricting the windpipe so that the air makes more of a forceful sound. Hold your next arc and just pause here for a moment, breathing nice and deeply into the left side of your rib cage. Maybe making the right ear heavy to the floor. Then drop the left arm long and lengthened at your side. Begin to extend the left leg. Look at your gate line. Set up the gate line that works for you. Take the left elbow. Using prop or no prop, you're going to drop it on the inseam of the leg. You're going to push with the back of your arm. You're going to resist with the leg. And you're going to open up through the right arm, reaching the right fingertips for the sky. And just pausing here for a moment and now trying to breathe nice and deeply and open up nice and deeply through the right side of your ribs. Give yourself a few moments here. You've got time today. There's no rush. Bleed your way from here back into a high seat, repositioning the front leg so that it's looking straight out in front of its hip bone. Reposition the back leg, stepping that foot and grounding it on the inside of your leg. You're going to twist towards your bent knee, grabbing opposite hand to knee, or maybe using your elbow to hook around the knee and find your first mariachi twist. Trying to keep your seat as tall as you can. Trying as best you can to keep your shoulders stacking over your hips and not leaning the weight of your body back. Then take the twist in the opposite direction, hooking the right elbow and arm on the inside of the knee, pushing and resisting. Holding here, maybe your hand is floating, maybe you've connected it to the floor, or maybe you're feeling more of a bind today and you'd like to wrap around the leg. Maybe bringing both hands together behind your back in a little bear grip, or maybe reaching opposite hand to wrist. Do what feels good for you. Just hold your mariachi asana twist, sitting up nice and tall. Give yourself a few moments, maybe looking over that back shoulder. Then try the twist again to side one, but as you come into the twist, take the right foot, step it over the left leg, then come into your twist, grabbing opposite hand to knee or hooking around the knee as you come into your twist. Looking for that nice long line through the spine. Then take the twist in the opposite direction, using the elbow to press the knee away, squeezing in with the knee, resisting with the arm. We're going to find our way from here into Paschimottanasana, nice forward fold. And if those legs are tense, maybe giving a little pedaling motion as you come into Paschimottanasana the first time. Then maybe just pausing here for a few moments, breathing nice and deeply into your whole back line. Then sitting up nice and tall and staff pose. Maybe keeping the feet just inside of hip width distance apart or clipping them together. We're coming into our inverted plank. Pick the hand line that works for you. Slide those hands back behind your hips. Start to drop your feet towards the floor. Begin to pike your belly up to the sky. Push off your hands or your fists. Stretch through the chest, the belly, the tops of your thighs, the ankles, the tops of your feet into each little toe. Then relax your bottom back down to the mat. And on a nice lazy exhale, come back into Paschimottanasana. Hands to thighs, hands to floor, hands hooked around your feet, whichever works for you. Take a moment to close your eyes. Take your focus inwards. Breathe. Just be. Breathe nice and deeply into the back and the sides of your ribs. Then bleed up again into a nice tall Dandasana, staff pose, opening up the legs so that they're hip width distance apart. Pick your hand position. All right, we're coming into a little tabletop. So slide those hands back behind your hip line, chest nice and tall. Bend your knees, ground your feet. Start to tuck your tailbone under. Think of making a little shrimp-like curl with your tailbone as you bleed your bottom off the mat. Don't lean into the arms, don't lean into the legs. Rock back and forth if you need to, and then find that midway point and hold, strong and proud. Legs working, arms working, belly working, chin relaxed. Try to keep those feet and those knees hip width distance apart if you can. Weight equal on the arms and the legs. Then start to relax back down to the mat. Find your way into your last Paschimottanasana, a full forward fold. Hang here for a bit. While you're taking a few nice long inhales and exhales in your forward fold, you're going to decide on how you'd like to end off your practice for today. You could end in Shavasana, which I would advise if you can, or you might prefer to come into a seated frame, maybe even sitting with your back against a wall so that you're coming into a supported seat if you are coming into a seat. So find your way, maybe softly onto the back or into your seated choice. Close your eyes, take your focus inwards. If you are in a brightly lit room, maybe just taking a hand towel and just softly draping it over your eyes. Close your eyes, take your focus inward. Start to lengthen your inhales and your exhales so that you're starting to relax and take more air into the body. Close your eyes, take your focus inward, and try to visualize the scene that I'm going to sketch for you. Visualize yourself in a beautiful, spacious, luxury bathroom. The lighting is low. Think soft candlelight. Relaxing tunes are playing in the background. There's a ginormous spa bath in one corner of the bathroom, positioned strategically in front of a full wall of glass, overlooking a private moonlit garden. Beyond the private garden, there's access to a private beach. So you can see the waves crashing gently on the shoreline as you look beyond the garden. Hear the low hum of the spa bath jets, swishing about the aromatic bath salts that you've thrown in. Step into the tub, immediately being enveloped by the warm water and the fragrant smell of your perfect bath blend. Sit back, the back of your head relaxing onto a strategically placed towel pillow. Feel the jets of pulsing water beginning to work their magic on your tight muscles. Close your eyes and begin to drift. Relax your body. Allow your body to just soften and relax. Allow your mind to soften and relax. Just be. Taking long inhales and equally long exhales. Big long breath in. Big long breath out. Relax. Recharge. Sometimes it's all right to be low key. Stay here, drifting in your spa bath for as long as you need to. Soft body, soft breath. Take the time to recharge, to regroup. Ending off your practice for today when you're ready by just gently nodding your chin to your chest and whispering the words internally, Shanti, peace within, peace without. Thank you so much for coming out today and joining me. I hope you do feel recharged. Till next time, keep it light.